All right. Both Kevins will end the Fed's deep state, and that's subject to the riff. It's a great story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal called Two Kevins Battle to be Next Fed Chair in Trump's Apprentice-Style Contest. The two Kevins are Kevin Warsh, former Federal Reserve Governor, and Kevin Hassett, presently Director of the National Economic Council in the Trump White House. They're both very dear friends of mine, going back a long while. They're both brilliant people. I doubt seriously that they're battling each other, but I do think they're at the top of President Trump's list for Fed chairman, at least for now. Here's a very key point. The Fed is in need of perestroika. In other words, the Fed has to be cleansed of its deep state dislike of all things Donald Trump, and frankly, its deep state bureaucratic groupthink of deadwood economists with models that haven't worked in 50 years. People who are now advising Jay Powell to fight President Trump and Mr. Trump's economic growth agenda. The next Fed chair has to go toe-to-toe with the hundreds of Fed economists who are spurring Jay Powell on his fight against Trump's tariff and reciprocity free trade policies. Also, Mr. Trump's tax cut policies. Economic growth does not cause inflation. Tariffs do not cause inflation, as per CEA Chair Stephen Myron's recent paper, and even Austin Goolsby's interview, Chicago Fed president, where Austin acknowledged the real-world fact that exporters and U.S. companies will eat the tariffs, not consumers or consumer prices. Of course, the Board of Governors has to be changed. That will come over time. Importantly, however, presidents of the regional reserve banks have got to be rotated out. The vast majority of them are Obama-Biden lefties who are heavily biased against President Trump. All this has to be changed. The chairman, the board, the regional reserve bank presidents, and the bulk of the Fed staff economists. Now, I'll tell you, I myself started my career at the New York Fed, and I am proud of it. I even had a chance way back when to work with the great Paul Volcker. But the Fed, over the past 50 years or more, has atrophied into a self-serving, central planning deep state that is essentially ignoring and opposing the wishes of the roughly 80 million people who voted for Donald Trump. It's time to end the Fed's deep state. And that is the rift